Week after having to withdraw from the Hero World Challenge near his home in the Bahamas, Justin Rose is back and ready to try and take down Patrick Reed and some other big names in this week's UBS Hong Kong Open.
Plus, Bryson DeChambeau and Lexi Thompson are the team to watch in the Franklin Templeton Shootout. But are they the team to beat? We're going to tell you which dynamic duo is going to win coming up on Golf Central.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
We will get you set for this week's biggest events across the globe, but we start this evening on a very sad note in the world of golf. A tragedy today at the Omega Dubai Ladies Masters as caddy Max Zekman collapsed on the 13th hole. After being transported to a hospital, he was pronounced dead for an apparent heart attack. Zekman was affectionately known as Big Max and was working for Annalise Caudal this week. He'd also caddied for the likes of Marcel Siem and Marcus Breer. Zekman died at the age of 56 years old. Play was suspended for the day as players and fellow caddies were in shock mourning the sudden loss.
Unfortunately, this morning, one of our caddies collapsed on course, and so immediately medical assistance was provided. We suspended the game, the play at 10:30 this morning, and just half an hour ago we were informed that, to my great regret, our caddy has passed away. Out of respect for the family and for the person, we have decided to suspend the play for the entire day today. And we will be informing the family. We have informed the family, and the play will resume tomorrow, playing only 54 holes after we have also paid respect to.
Zekman had caddied for Marcel Siem on the European Tour. Siem offered his condolences on Twitter, saying, "A true gentleman and friend left us. He was always smiling and helping everybody wherever and whenever he could. We miss you. Rest in peace, Max." Zekman is survived by his wife, Eleanor, and 3 sons. The Omega Dubai Ladies Masters has been shortened to 54 holes. The first round will resume tomorrow. It's tough to transition other news, but we turn to the UBS Hong Kong Open, this week's European Tour stop. For the men, we flash back to the 2015 UBS Hong Kong Open. Justin Rose on the final hole, the bogey putt taps in to finish at 17 under par. That final round, 68, good enough for him to get the trophy and his 8th career European Tour win.
Hong Kong is one of my favorite places to be. Had such a great time here last year, and winning. I think there's always obviously a pride to come back and try and defend a title. It's something I haven't actually managed to do yet in my career, so that's on the cards. That's definitely one of my goals, and it takes a combination, I think, of being aggressive and being patient. It's a short golf course which teases you into trying to be aggressive. Just depending on how you're feeling on a given day, pick your moments to be aggressive, but really respect the golf course. It's not a long one, but you can get into a lot of trouble too.
It's been quite the wait for Justin Rose since he slipped on that Olympic gold back in Rio in August. He's been suffering through back issues much of the season. They've really flared up this fall. His best finish since the Olympics, a tie for 24th in the BMW Championship. Now joined by Golf Channel analyst Tripp Eisenhower. Tripp, how unnerving or unsettling is it that Justin Rose has had these back issues? Remember back at the BMW PGA, had to pull out of that event as well back in May, so it's lingered all year.
Yeah, it really has. And you look at his form, how he was playing at Wells Fargo. He had a top 5 finish. It looked like everything was trending towards another great U.S. Open performance. Then sidelined by that back injury, wasn't able to prepare quite the way he would want for the upcoming majors. But then he rose to the occasion in great form at the Olympics. The one thing is, it's a reoccurring, the best thing to do, take a page out of Tiger Woods. Don't get the surgery, but take a lot of time off. I mean, that's typically what the medical professionals will tell you. If you keep re-injuring the same area, time off is usually the only thing. And again, it's so tough to do. And I note myself, when I was trying to get through a back injury, they were telling me to take some time off and actually heal it. And once I actually took that time off, it got better. So that's the big thing. His game is going to be fine. But we got to remember, he was 6th in the world last year when he won here in Hong Kong. He's already down to 15th in the world. So kind of an uncharacteristic off year for Justin Rose.
Well, you can tell that he's looking forward to at least trying to defend the UBS Hong Kong Open in his final start of 2016. Here are some of the notable names playing in this event, including a bunch of guys who are duking it out at Hazeltine. American Patrick Reed on the European side, Rafa Cabrera-Bello. You had vice captain Ian Poulter and Danny Willett. All these guys looking forward to a fun week.
Having a chat? We've been to Hong Kong a couple of times now, me and my wife, and it's a great city. Loads to do, loads of things to see. You know, obviously different cultures all in one mixing pot. Every time we've come here, we've had an amazing time. So, you know, when the guy from UBS asked us to come back and play, it was a no-brainer, really.
Ryder Cup hero Patrick Reed has played frequently on the European Tour and retains his 2017 European Tour card. Reed finished tied for 3rd in this event last year.
To come over and just see how awesome a place it is, you know, down to from the food, shopping, the people, golf course, and it's a fun place. I'm so excited to be back and hopefully, you know, put on a good show this week.
Ian Poulter's 2016 season was plagued by injury, but as he continues his comeback, he's hoping to find the form he had when he won this event in 2010.
I'm in good form. I'm rested. I feel my game feels pretty good. So it's good to come to a golf course where I've had quite a bit of success. You know, quite a few rounds in the 60s around this course, and obviously holding that trophy in 2010. I'm as ambitious as I've always been. I always look to perform well. I always want to put pressure on myself, and I always demand big things. So that will never change.
This co-sanctioned event with the Asian Tour sees some rising stars like Soo-Min Lee and Jung Hung Wang lining up alongside some of Asia's biggest names.
I played Hong Kong Open many times, and I love Hong Kong and love Fanling golf course, so come back again. This is my last event this year. Hopefully have good score this week.
Local amateur Humphrey Wong will be making his 2nd start in the event.
It's a true honor to be able to play in the biggest tournament in Hong Kong, being able to play and meet the seasoned pros and see what I can do to be able to reach that level.
Danny Willett has finished 2nd in his last 2 Race to Dubai appearances. This week, the Englishman finds himself back on one of his favorite courses.
What we did so well over the last 2 years is play golf tournaments that we want to play, and funnily enough, when you play somewhere you want to play, you often play a bit better. So yeah, this has definitely been on that list for a while, and yeah, hopefully we can have a good week.
And folks, here you see Patrick Reed fully suited up in his red, white, and blue as part of the U.S. Ryder Cup team at Hazeltine, where he went 3-1-1. Tripp and I also fully suited up now that we're standing. What do you make of his play since that performance?
Yeah, if we look at his finishes that he's had since that Ryder Cup, I was predicting great success for Patrick Reed, and we got to remember last year at this time he was red hot. He was playing some fantastic golf around the world, but not so great for Patrick Reed, and he may be suffering a little bit of a Ryder Cup hangover in that he's not preparing quite the way he normally wants to. But I will say this, I think Patrick Reed is that type player who's ready to make the next leap, using the Ryder Cup as a springboard to major championships. He has not played well in major championships, but he's got the game to compete there. I think it's just a matter of everything lining up for him in one of those events, and then when he gets in contention, he'll ultimately be able to close the door, because when you stand toe-to-toe with Rory McIlroy playing the kind of golf that they were, it's got to inspire you and know you have it in you to win major championships.
Do you think anything has to do with his scheduling? He played a ton of events worldwide last year. He's a guy who seems to relish in the fact that he plays seemingly every week, and then the majors, he hasn't seemed to have enough gas.
Exactly, and that's the other thing, too, trying to play the European Tour and the PGA Tour for an American player, that's very difficult to do. So I do think that scheduling will definitely change for Patrick Reed in the future. He's got to get those events down. He does love to travel. He loves to play golf, but I'd love to see him play about 20 events with the focus being around the majors, because that's what we've seen from the players who have ultimately prevailed in major championships.
Well, it's the last week of school for a lot of people, feels like it here, and for the guys on the European Tour, the last event of 2016. You can watch it live, prime time, the UBS Hong Kong Open. Begins tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, only right here on Golf Channel. When we return, who's the favorite to win the Franklin Templeton shootout? Our expert tells you who has the edge to tame Tiburon. And we're debating who should be the next U.S. Ryder Cup captain with Jeff Shackelford, his choice, after this short break.
Golf Central is brought to you by Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X, the #1 gift in golf. Shipsticks, the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, simplifying the way you travel.